Robert Lansdorp was my coach, and I want to talk a little bit about what he did and how he produces these champions, continues to do it. I was his first #1 in the world, and then actually Pete Sampras came after that. Lindsay Davenport came after that. We all grew up about within 10 minutes of each other, and it's not the water in Palos Verdes that produces champions. Somebody I did an interview yesterday, they said, "What is it?" And I said, well, the common thread is Robert Lansdorp, and then who, of course, coached Maria Sharapova as well. And Robert is a perfectionist, and when you walk on his court, you know that you are there to give 100%. Not maybe 100% for 10 minutes, but 100% for either the half an hour or the hour. And you also know that Robert is willing to give 100%. I have never seen him give anything than less than 100% in his lessons. He wants that kid, it's almost a challenge to him, he wants that kid to walk off the court an hour later a better tennis player than when that kid walked onto the court. And he is all about repetition. He's all about repetition because then physically you're able to hit the same shot over and over again physically, and mentally you're able to come up with the goods when the chips are down. At 4-all in the third, if you need to go and hit that forehand down the line within 2 feet of the line, you can do it because you've done it about 1.5 million times with Robert. I'll never forget, he said when Maria came to him at 11, that Maria didn't have that ability to focus for long periods of time. Well, obviously, she got rid of that. She does not have a problem with being mentally tough and focusing. And I think so much of that, I don't want to give it all the credit to Robert, but I do think so much of that is hitting the targets. When you go out in a lesson with Robert, you rarely go 10 balls without something specific. Actually, I can't remember 10 balls. It's all, maybe when you warm up. But then he wants it deeper, he wants more of an angle, he wants it down the line. And he doesn't say it like that, "Can you please hit down the line?" Aren't you hitting the ball down the line? I mean, he screams at you. So these kids walk on the court, they are shaking, they are so nervous, and they respect Robert. Now, I'm not the way that I teach or want to teach, but all I can say is I know my son. And when he has a lesson at the club, he gets out there, he's a little bit lazy, and he's kind of thinking he's talented, and he's out there. And he gets on the court with Robert, and all of a sudden the knees are bent immediately. The effort level is 100% immediately with Robert. He demands respect. And that's what you want to see from pros, and that's what you want to see from kids. Not by screaming at them, but by somehow getting across to them. And when Robert would yell, okay, and he did yell, there's no doubt the guy would yell. I mean, I hyperventilated one time. He was running me so hard, and he's like, "Get back out there." I can't breathe. And so he does yell, but you know that there's a reason behind it because he knows that you have more. You knows that you can dig a little bit deeper. And when he pulls that out of you, when you get in a third set in a tournament, you know that you got that little bit extra because you've done it before. So he really develops the physical part where you can hit the shot over and over again, but plus the mental part, and that's what's so crucial. He's famous for doing 20 at the baseline, which is an absolute pain in the legs. I want to say pain in the neck, but it's a pain in the legs, where you go from side to side, and you have to hit every single ball in the court. You can't push it. You don't have to hit a rocket, but you've got to get it in. If you get to 17 and you miss at 17, what do you think you have to do? You start all over again at #1. So guess what? At 17, you are going to get there. You are going to pull the Boris Becker move if you need to get that ball in. And to me, that's so handy to have in a match. When you are tired and you're playing on clay and the match is long, somehow you're going to dig deep and get that ball. Find a way somehow. I got to turn my racket this way. I got to get my leg over here this way. Whatever it is to get that ball in. And I've seen him do it. He did it to my son about 2 months ago. Anyways, quite a sight. But what was crucial about Robert, I've never seen anybody else do this. Now, maybe I haven't gone to the academies enough. He fed the slices when I was going to have to play Martina. I was going to play Sylvia Honeck. He fed the top spins. I don't know how his arm is just not falling off. He hit me high balls. He hit me low balls. He hit me short balls, making me come in. He hit so many varieties of shots that when I saw that slice from Martina, that backhand slice is just knifes, and especially on grass, stays down so low and is so irritating. She's up at the net, and you've got to try to pass her. I had seen it so many times that it made it a little bit easier. So I think that's crucial that when you're doing these kind of dead ball drills, when you're feeding, Don't feed your kids every single ball right there. Yes, feed a few there so you get the targets. He liked to put a pole. Robert puts a pole right here with a cone on top. And he likes to see how many you hit there, and you're going to try to hit cross court. How many out of 10 you can hit. He's famous for this. How many of those cones that you can hit out of 10? No, maybe 2 out of 10. I don't know, whatever. I think my eventual record was 6 out of 10. And he does that over and over and over again. He rarely puts the cones back there. He puts them here, which I find interesting because I saw a lot of people hit them back there. But what he wants is he wants you to see how far above the net you're going to hit. If you drive the ball, that's his favorite line, drive the ball. We don't want to push the ball. That's why Maria kind of drives the heck out of the ball. Lindsay Davenport doesn't do a bad job either. She drives the heck out of the ball. He wants you to get used to hitting about this high over the net and driving that ball. So I think that's a really good target. The other thing that he did was he cheated us, which I find amazing now. But what he did, if you're playing a 21, it'd be 17-14 for me. And all of a sudden, thanks, sweetie. This is my cardio tennis woman, Michelle Krause. How about a hand? She's the best. If 17-14 for me, he'd cheat and go 17-14 for him. And of course, you had absolutely no control. But what that did, again, he's trying to work. He didn't care about winning. He wanted to work on our mental toughness and see how we handled that. Because you know when your kids are playing, your pupils are playing, they're going to have kids that cheat these days. They've got to learn how to handle that and compartmentalize that and forget that. Get a lines person, whatever you need to do, but then go back to the match. So again, working on that mental toughness. The drills. I find that a lot of kids are working hours and hours on drills, and they've got the lazy footwork, just like the 2 kids last night. You know, make it 15 minutes. Give yourself a short amount of time and make your kids have great footwork. You watch Connors, the way he practiced. He's famous for practicing only an hour and a half. Celis, same thing. I mean, the intensity level was off the charts when they practiced. I was the same. I just would not let myself do anything less. I mean, I hit with Jimmy when we were there at the U.S. Open about a month ago for a Lexus deal. I was done. I was tired. I played the exhibition, and Jimmy was dying to hit. He's still 56 years old. He's still chomping at the bit. He couldn't play because of the hip. Tracy, will you hit with me? I'm like, sure, Jimmy. I'm like thinking, okay, we'll see how this goes. The guy did not miss a tennis ball in a half an hour. Every ball, still the same strokes, quite flat. Every single ball this high over the net, every single ball within 3 feet of the baseline. So he obviously just drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled. I mean, it was so fun. But I mean, in that half an hour, I got so much practice in, or he got so much practice in, that he didn't need to practice the 6 hours that so many of these kids are practicing. You ramp that intensity up, and then it'll really help. I remember Rod Laver telling Robert Vantoff, who coached Lindsay Davenport at the time, Lindsay wasn't a great mover at the beginning of her career. And Rod said, you know what, if the ball's out, just run after it. Still run after every single ball out there. You know, you'll get used to get that quick first step. Chase every single ball down. Don't go, oh, out, quit. Chase all the balls down in a drill. Remember seeing Hingis practice, okay, before a tournament at Madison Square Garden. She rarely missed. She probably missed 3 times the entire practice. I saw Kornikova practice. She was trying for this area. You know, 2 inches out, 2 inches wide, 2 inches beyond the baseline, 1 in. 2 inches out. Hopefully Nick's not here still. But anyway, I mean, you know, the difference in their practice, it's not just you want to get the ball around this area. I'd rather get the ball in here. It doesn't matter if it's a mile out or 2 inches out, it's still in. So still out. Make your kids think during practice, all of it counts. I've got to make every single ball in, and that will translate into your matches as well. When you need to get that ball in at 4 on the third, that'll help you get that ball in. The live ball drills, there's the dead ball drills where they're feeding. I think that's important for targets, accuracy. The live ball drills that I was talking about last night, where they're hitting with each other, working your footwork, making sure you have the good footwork. A couple quick drills that I loved was I worked with my brother Jeff before the U.S. Open in '79, and 2 cross courts. I hit 1, 2, and then I ripped the ball up the line. And within 2 cross courts, rip the ball up the line. Do it for the backhand side as well. Difference in the matches that I played Chris Evert, I'm 8-7 with Chris head-to-head. I think the difference was the backhand down the line, and I swear it's from that one drill because I was able to change the direction of the ball. Backhand, cross court, boom, up the line. Backhand, 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 up the line. I felt confident when the crunch time was there to rip that ball up the line. And I think that's the one shot, if I could teach any kid, really important is that backhand down the line. Make it your bread and butter shot, because so often they can hit cross court, but that opens the ball, the court up. If you just hit 10 to hit cross court, cross court, cross court, what usually happens is that kid feels quite comfortable to run around his backhand and start hitting inside-out forehands this direction, this direction, this direction. You're covering all sorts of real estate over here. If you don't have that backhand down the line, they feel confident to stand over there. You got a backhand down the line, they're going to not be cheating so much in that area over there. So that's one of my favorite drills. Every match that I played in my entire career, from the time I was 7 years old, my first tournament, to the last one I played, I did cross courts and down the lines before the match. And that's probably a mind thing. You know how Rafa puts his bottles in the place all the time? For me, it just made me feel comfortable. If I couldn't do that before, I probably didn't feel comfortable. I'll never forget in Madrid, and we were playing Fed Cup. Billie Jean was the captain, and we didn't have the court. We had to share it with a lot of people in 20 minutes. I made her get up the hour earlier, like 7 in the morning, so that we could have the court, so we could do the cross courts and down the line. So you've got to figure out what's the best thing to do for you to warm up and to train before that makes you or your kids or your pupils feel grooved. Chris Everett liked to do 2-on-1s. Played Fed Cup with Chris. She loved to do the 2-on-1s, 2 at the baseline, 1 at the net. You kind of wear that person out, but that person really gets to hit to the corners on a consistent basis and get grooved. And there's obviously somebody standing there. So those are a couple of drills that are my favorites.
To buy a DVD of this seminar in its entirety, go to usprotennisshop.com.